Joining us now is one of the Republicans not backing the budget bill, Senate Republican Conference Chairman John Thune of South Dakota. As always, Senator Thune, welcome back to the Kudlow Report.
It's nice to be with you, Larry. Thank you. Good evening.
All right, good evening. Listen, so you voted against the Ryan budget deal through the procedural cloture vote today. Let me just ask you, I want to know why. Or is there a second alternative where you voted no, but secretly you hope yes? What's going on here?
Well, look, we know we've got to do something to not end up where we did before in a government shutdown. The House of Representatives did what I think they could do, what they had the votes to do, probably got the best deal they possibly could, and I give them credit for making a very good faith effort. But most of us here in the Senate had basically been of the view that we ought to fund the government at the Budget Control Act levels, provide flexibility for the agencies, but maintain the spending discipline that was put in place 2 years ago in the Budget Control Act. It's the first time since I've been here that we've actually reduced overall federal spending, and we've done it 2 years in a row, which hasn't happened literally since the 1950s. So I think adherence to the Budget Control Act is really what many of us in the Senate had hoped we'd been able to do.
Look, I'm a strong supporter of the Budget Control Act, and your theory is absolutely correct. The sequester has worked. But look, as Ryan has told many of us, he was lacking. He was short 50 votes in the House. Between the defense hawks and the appropriators, he couldn't do it. So what did he do? He got 70% of a sequester that Democrats wanted to zero out completely. Now, to me, you know, like Reagan said, give me half a loaf now and I'll take a full, the other half later. Ryan got 70%. It's the best you could have done.
Well, I mean, if you look at the individual components of the bill, though, Larry, I mean, about a third of it is fees, revenues, however you want to call it, and about half of the savings in the bill actually occur in the last 2 years of the deal. So, again, we are kicking the can down the road. Now, having said that, I totally understand where they were coming from, and I think Paul Ryan and his colleagues over there negotiated probably the best deal that they could under the circumstances. But for those of us who had been hoping that we were going to be able to fund the government at the Budget Control Act levels, and frankly, a position that many of us here in the Senate have been advocating for some time, you know, it's disappointing. But that being said, we are where we are, and you know, we'll have the vote in the Senate tomorrow. I think it will pass. And hopefully we'll be off to do some other things that actually might be good for jobs in the economy.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, to me, first of all, Ryan did get some small, minor entitlement changes, which I think could be a harbinger of the future. I give him credit for that. But, Senator Thune, the other part is this. Look, in some sense, Ryan saves the GOP from itself, because now the shutdown is off the table. You could have fought this thing, but you would have gone in the shutdown mode. You go in the shutdown mode, then all of a sudden you lose the whole conversation and criticism of Obamacare. What Ryan did, I think, was keep the criticism of Obamacare, which is going to be the real meat and potatoes for 2014.
Agreed, and I think that his hand was weakened by the first shutdown. I think we would have been in a much better position. And if the House, frankly, Larry, had been in a position to pass a clean CR at Budget Control Act levels, he would have been able to get a much better deal out of the Senate Democrats as well. So what happened before obviously shaped where we are today, and we have to play the hand that we're dealt. And like I said, I mean, I think they had to do what they had to do to get something through the House. It will, in the end, pass the Senate. There are those of us who don't like it and who are in favor of the Budget Control Act spending levels, who think that these are, again, kicking the can down the road. It's basically spend now, pay later, which is something that we do all too often here in Washington, D.C. But it does settle the budget issue for the next couple of years, and hopefully will enable us to focus on some of the other things we ought to be talking about, like tax reform and entitlement spending reform, energy policy, Obamacare, and first and foremost, right, Obamacare, which I think will be front and center of our agenda.
Are you going to vote nay tomorrow, or are you going to change your mind tonight after having this conversation with me?
Well, you are so persuasive, Larry, that I'm really starting to have second thoughts here. But no, I'll be a no vote tomorrow.
Mr. Thune, you know, I worked for a guy, his name was Ronald Reagan. He made deals, sir. He made deals. Republicans got to show that once in a while they can make a deal, but let's not go through that. I hear you loud and clear. We're delighted to have you back on the show, as always, Senator John Thune. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Larry. Merry Christmas.
All right, right back.